Today we're using the Kayuso quick defrosting box to go from frozen to delicious in less than an hour. I'm Johnny. You're watching A View to a Grill. Now let's take a look at the Kayuso quick defrosting box. The Kayuso quick defrosting box returns food to its optimal state in as fast as 10 minutes. It has a large capacity of 4.2 liters and comes with a lid, a plate, a manual, a fan with UV lights, and a recharging cable. The unit's energy efficient Type-C fast charging allows for multiple uses on a single charge. Now the fan unit, you can actually see the fan through the grates, and this fan allows us to thaw things rapidly. On the underside of the fan, you can see the UVC LED sterilization lights. Now let's get the lid on, and on the lid you can see these little notches. On the fan, you can see the corresponding tabs. To install, just match the tabs to the notches and turn clockwise. The Kayuso is easy to clean. I'm just using a sanitary, food-safe napkin to clean mine. It also has a user-friendly design. The lid just sits on top and does not need any latches. And then here's a good illustration on the plasma lock freshness technology. Due to the rapid thawing, you can actually thaw thin pieces of meat like this breakfast cut ribeye. To demonstrate this for you, I'll be grilling this 11-ounce New York strip. Now that we know what we're doing, let's go ahead and prepare our rub. You'll need 3 tablespoons of fine sea salt, 2 tablespoons of table pepper, 2/3 of a teaspoon of granulated garlic, and 2/3 of a teaspoon of granulated onion. Now all we have to do is give that a shake, and when you're done, you should have a rub that looks like this. Now, let's go ahead and start defrosting our steak. I think it's important that I mention what our starting point is. My freezer is set at 0 degrees. All right, so here's our steak. We're sitting at 74.3 degrees and 61.6 humidity. And here's a good look at that steak. It is already getting frosty. And this steak measures just above 30 millimeters. Now we need to convert that to centimeters, and I'm just using a website that I found, and it comes out that this is 3 centimeters. For beef, that is 3 centimeters. It should be able to defrost it in about 30 minutes. Now we can just get our frozen steak in the middle of the plate, and then we'll just set the lid on. We'll then turn on the power, and I'm going to set this to 35 minutes because remember, it was just a little bit above 3 centimeters. And we're trying to do this in less than an hour, so our reference time is 11:50. The UVC sterilization lights come on immediately, and you can see them in this shot. Now I need to immediately start my chimney starter. Right off the bat, is that little fan that they use is pretty powerful. Look how it moves my glove from the little vents on the side of the lid. So here's what we're looking like 20 minutes in, and notice there are no lost juices. All right, all of this is moving fast. It is 12:13. My charcoal is ready. So now I'm going to get that into my kettle. I'll move the charcoal around for even heat distribution and then close the lid so it can preheat. I'll also make sure the top and bottom vents are open. And take a look at this. We're 30 minutes in and there are no gray edges like you would see from a microwave. Now our time is almost up. We'll get the lid off. Bam! The steak is back. It's done. The steak is back to its natural state. Amazing. Our steak is defrosted, and now I'll just trim it a little. I do not particularly care for this gristle, so I'll trim all of that off. Now that we're done trimming, let's go ahead and season our steak. Pat the steak fully dry with a paper napkin. Next, I'll spray the steak with a little avocado oil. This will help the seasoning stick and aid in browning. And we're going to season all sides of the steak, and I just put a moderate coating. You can see the seasoning, but you can still see the steak through the seasoning. And here we are. It is 12:31 and we're ready to grill our steak. Now I'm going to start this steak on the indirect side of the grill. We'll close the lid and set a timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes later, our timer is going off, and we'll check on our steak. Open the lid. There's our steak. Now we can start putting that sear on the steak. So what I'm doing is looking for the hottest part of the grill and setting the steak right down on top of that. And now I'll set another timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes later, let's check on our steak. There it is. The color looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quarter turn. And one thing I want you to notice is we're doing this part with the lid open. And then based on the color of that steak, I'm going to shorten my next timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 minute. So it's a minute later and our timer's going off. Let's go ahead and check on the steak. Check out that color. It's got some nice crust on it. And I'm just going to continue going with my 1 minute timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 minute. So it's been a minute, and this time we're going to do something different. We're going to actually check the internal temperature of our steak. And this one's coming in just under 100 degrees, which is perfect. Now that we know what our internal temperature is, let's go ahead and get that back over the hottest part of the grill, making a quarter turn. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 minute. Now another minute has passed. We're going to move that steak to the indirect side and do another internal temperature check. This time we're at about 111 degrees, which is good, but we need to finish this steak on the indirect side of the grill with the lid closed, and we're going to set another 1 minute timer. Hey Siri, set a timer for 1 minute. And here we are, 1 minute later. Through experience, I know it's time to remove this steak from the grill. And look at the color on that steak. Pretty nice. I'll go ahead, get my steak on a board, and it is still looking rather delicious. A little time check, 12:48. We defrosted a frozen steak and grilled it in less than an hour. So the internal temperature right now is measuring 129 degrees. We're going to get about 10 degrees of carryover, and that's going to get us to a medium steak. Now it's time to cut this bad boy open and see what we got. And of course I need to eat this end piece. Delicious. Here's the steak. Look at that. So we reached our medium temperature. The color looks nice. The steak is absolutely delicious. I'll give myself a hand. And then I need to give you a look at all the slices. The steak came out great, juicy, very tasty, simple rub, delicious. Now I have grilled a few other things. I've done this extremely thick steak. This one took a while to defrost though. It took about 45 to 50 minutes. So what I found is that beef takes a little longer and things like pork and chicken take a little less. For instance, I did these pork chops right here and I gave them 25 minutes. Honestly, I probably could have just given them 20 minutes and they turned out perfect as well. As you can see, the Kayuso quick defrosting box, it actually works. Loved it. Definitely be using it again. If you like what you saw, check out my pinned comment below. That's where I'll have some information if you want to purchase one for yourself. Now, if you haven't already subscribed to View to a Grill, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Go ahead, subscribe to View to a Grill. I'll see you guys next time. Take care, y'all.